I'm doing good, Cap. That's quite an introduction. I haven't heard one like that since the late, great Chet Kopic, and I appreciate it.
Wow. Uh, Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
I'm listening to you on the broadcast.
Yeah.
I have the game on. I'm sitting on an airplane, and I'm watching the game. And the Bears score. This is after the Doug Kramer nonsense and all of the idiocy. And I literally, in my seat, have my headset in listening to you guys. I go, yes, sir! Take that, Washington! And people on the plane start clapping around me. My wife's like, well, you got everybody fired up. And then I hear you with the oh no or whatever it was. You say, he caught it. I'm like, and then it pops on my TV. I'm hearing the radio before the CBS broadcast, and I literally about threw up in my seat. What was going through your mind as the final two plays are unfolding?
Well, I still had residual disappointment in the way they lined up defensively on the 13-yard out in the completion of McLaren.
Agreed.
To get him into position where it's a throwable to the end zone distance. And so I was looking at the configuration of the defensive personnel, and I'm going, it's crazy. What do they have? What is this all about? And so as that's lingering in my head, thinking about what could happen as a result of that non-competed against completion, then I see the three rushers, I see a spy, and then I see the defensive backs lined up in the end zone, and then out of the corner of my eye, I kind of see a white jersey just walking around aimlessly, and I'm going, what are you doing? What is this about? And then all of a sudden the ball is snapped, and then you look at Jaden Daniels running around from the three rushers. You got T.J. Edwards, who's the spy, and then you got the defensive backs all back in the end zone. And then, you see the scramble, and then you see the loft of the pass. And so the loft of the pass takes such a long time, you almost have a chance to refocus on everything that's going on. Allegretti delivers a shot to Jervon Dexter Sr., knocks him off his feet. Jaden is in a just a place where no one's in his face, so he gets a chance to bring it up and fling it down. And then you see the scrum in the end zone, and you really don't know the result of the scrum until the ball actually the play stops. And then when Tyreek comes running in and he just leaps up and tries to tip the ball, and of everything you're ever taught throughout the course of history on that play is the one thing you don't do is tip the ball. It's always knock it down. We've heard Tommy Jackson say that on ESPN for 1,000 years with the Berminator when they did their Sunday night show. And when he tipped the ball up in the air and that Noah Brown was sitting in the end zone and there was nobody there to defend against him, because as soon as that ball was tipped, you could have tackled him in the end zone. And then you heard my scream, and it was
Yep.
it's a scream that I'm sure a thousand fans in their house did the same thing, and I can't hide it. And the overall disappointment just left me, and the moment of frustration is something I've never experienced before.
And so now with the after game and Matt Eberflus continuing to say what he said about not taking a timeout, and then we've got players questioning Matt Eberflus's play call and coming out in the media. And how does this team move on from that and to face just a ship and get a win in Arizona?
Okay, the loss is a loss. There's nothing you can do about it. That's over with. And I don't agree with a lot has been said throughout the course of the week, but I can't talk about it anymore. I need everybody to focus who is trying to spin this thing forward is say, okay, you guys, you never gave up the fight. You guys stayed in it until DeAndre Swift took that big 50-plus yard touchdown run, and we got back in the game. The defense did an unbelievable job of holding these guys to field goals throughout the whole first half and kept us in a position to get back in it. Okay, we made a couple of bad decisions. But what can we do moving forward to make sure that we're not in that position again? And I would have to spin it in a positive direction at this point, and I can't dwell on the negative anymore. I can't, if I'm going to the podium, if I'm answering questions, if I'm the guys going to the podium today, don't ask me anymore about the Washington game because I'm not going to answer it. And so for 20-something years, we can watch Belichick go to the podium and say, hey, I'm moving on to whomever they play
I'm on to
next.
Cincinnati is
Right.
his famous one.
Exactly. You're right, Cap. And so you're going to have to take that approach. As much as the media might not want to hear that, that's what you're going to have to do, because you're going to have to start focusing on what can we do, what did we learn, and how can we go to Arizona and win this game.
So Eberflus closed practice yesterday. It was a walkthrough, and then had certain guys meet with the media. DJ Moore. Okay, I'm going to play it for everyone who hasn't, and then I want you to react.
I mean, we all talked about it, and me and Flus talked about it with the captains, and just got to stay in the house next time. I mean, I'm not going to say sorry for what I said, but at the same time, it should have just stayed in the house, but I said what I said.
So he's saying to you, like, what are we doing here running Doug Kramer, who's never cared? All right, whatever, go at it. Like, win or lose, I don't care. When it's 12-7, what in the H is going on, Tom, on a sideline where Shane Waddle said to me, Cap, that should not even be on the call sheet on Friday, and if it is, Eberflus should go, that ain't happening. And then when you hear the call in the game, we're running this Doug Kramer play. Nope, you're not. And one, he said, I had my team in Miami. They're going to throw the ball late. I said, no, we're running Ricky Williams until his legs fall off. 14 consecutive carries later, game over as he dives into the end zone. How does that happen?
Well, one thing, you put the play in the game to hand it to Doug Kramer unexpectedly, where the defense is not even considering he could possibly be a ball carrier. But what Doug Kramer has done since he's been in the lineup is he's been a lead blocker for every play that he's been in. And so there is a certain amount of responsibility that's dedicated to Doug Kramer, thinking, okay, he's going to lead us to the point of attack, and then we're going to, close the ranks accordingly. And when you're a linebacker, you usually have a three-read responsibility, and that's both guards to the fullback. And so their attention was never taken in a different direction. So there was going to be a majority of the interior bodies and power was going to be right in front of Doug Kramer. And, yeah, it was a play that was run, and the worst possible results happened on that play. And I've been through that play before, because in Denver, when William Perry was in the backfield, we put a handoff to William Perry, but it was going to be an option. And Jim McMahon was going to stick it in his stomach and take it out and then option it to the outside. But as he stuck it in the belly of William Perry, William grabbed the football, pulled it out of McMahon's hands, and then it was a fumble that Denver jumped on. So I've seen it happen before. And just because the Bears were able to climb back into that game and they were right at the goal line, the disappointment for everybody was overwhelming because of the design, the circumstances when it was called. To me, if you're going to call that play, I hope that you would have practiced it at least 25 to 50 times in practice, just because the repetitiveness of that handoff to a guy that doesn't get handoffs, it's got to feel second nature to him. So the disappointment is there, but I kind of think, okay, if the play would have worked, man, we would have been anointing everybody the next boy genius, and God, way to think outside the box and way to capitalize on, using the personnel, especially when the Friday before they released Kari Blasingame, who is a fullback, and he's the guy that they didn't use, but now they ended up going to use a lineman.
So yesterday also we got an injury report that has Karan Amagaji didn't practice, Braxton Jones didn't practice, Ryan Bates elevated, from coming back from IR, he was limited, Tevin Jenkins limited, and Larry Borum full. Bill Murray went on IR. He's going to be gone for the rest of the season. So are you in favor of adding a body at the trade deadline to this offensive line, or do you think they should try to weather the storm against two not so great defenses this week and next week against the Patriots and try to get some of these guys healthy before the Packers game?
Well, the reason you kept Larry Borum on the roster is to rehabilitate him from that ankle injury, make sure he did the conditioning and everything that was asked of him inside the weight room and the conditioning room, and the same thing with Ryan Bates. You've actually signed him here to be a starter. So if both of these guys are ready to go, then they should be able to be inserted immediately without skipping a beat, because mentally they know all the responsibilities of the offensive line. And if they're the types of players that you kept them on the roster for the whole year and you think they are NFL legit players, then they should be ready to go. And so I'm not looking to go out there and make a deal like the Vikings had to make for Cam Robinson because they lost Dereshal, their tackle. This is about, okay, I've had these guys waiting in the wings, and now let's put them in the game. And they've had other guys waiting in the wings for their opportunity to be game day eligible, if in fact they don't necessarily have to play, but they're in a backup role, and hope everybody stays healthy. So I'm not going to look for an unrealistic deal, because if you're going to bring an offensive lineman here that you want him to go in there and play, it's going to take him a while to perfectly learn the system, to go into games like Detroit, Green Bay at the end of the year, at Minnesota, in San Francisco, and be able to interpret the huddle call at the line of scrimmage and make sure you know what's going on.
The trade deadline is Tuesday. Do you believe, and we saw 2 years ago the Chase Claypool trade did not work. Last year, Montez Sweat absolutely worked. Do you believe there is an appetite, let's call it, at Hallis Hall with the Carolina 2, your own 1? I mean, you got all your draft capital. Do you think there's an appetite to make a move? Not necessarily, while it would impact this year, somebody like Sweat, who would impact you for years going forward. And the guy I have my eyes on is, if Dallas loses again to fall to 3-5, they're probably done thinking about making a run here. I would move heaven and earth to get Micah Parsons.
Yeah, right, Cap. You're talking like Jerry Jones now, for God's sake.
Well, hold on a second.
Listen.
They can't pay everybody. They just gave 60 whatever million to Dak.
Right.
They gave CeeDee Lamb like 40. They cannot pay everybody.
I agree with you. And listen, if there was a way that you could go out and manipulate your draft capital or any of your assets and get a guy like Micah Parsons, then all right, go out there and then turn every stone that you possibly can. But I need to see Jacob Martin get more reps. I'd like to see Daniel Hardy get more reps. I want to see the development of Austin Booker. I still like what I'm seeing out of Darrell Taylor. So the guys out there that are going to play the same role that Micah Parsons is, you have them on board. But you got to feed these guys reps. You got to give them an opportunity to get in the game. And Daniel Hardy's making some really good plays on special teams, but he made some good plays as a pass rusher during the preseason. And I know that you'll talk about the competition. However, he is a good football player that has pass rushing skills. I think rather than opening up your cupboards and cleaning everything out for a player, that if you think that you're going to get him, just think of the enormity of the contract you're going to have to pay him, and think where the Bears are at and who they're going to have to pay in the next 3 to 4 years. They're going to be on the docket for a significant amount of money as well.
So you don't think he's going to do a lot, do you?
I don't, and again, I think unless you're talking about Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Micah Parsons, these types of hybrids that still have some playing left in their system without needing to be taught a lot. It's second long, third and long. You rush the passer. So I don't think there's a move out there that's going to spin the dials for the Bears as this season continues to work itself.
Tom, if I'm a young whippersnapper and I'm dressed up as a vampire or a werewolf or whatever kids dress up as these days, and I go to the Thayer household, what am I getting tonight?
Regular size Snickers, like the real size, not the one biters.
Get the king size, man. You're Tom Thayer.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the full bar, something that you could put in the freezer and maybe eat for a week.
I love that. That's awesome. Love a full-size family.
And that is your favorite candy bar, a Snickers?
No, my favorite candy bar is probably Hershey with almonds.
Wow. I'm a whatchamacallit or $100,000 guy.
I heard that yesterday. I like the $100,000 too. As a kid, there's nothing better, but give me the Nestle's Crunch, Hershey with almonds.
Nestle's Crunch is top shelf.
Yeah, any dark chocolate I like as well.
There you go.
See, if it's candy, I'm eating it. So
me too. Yeah, that's the way I was raised. Not those candy corn things.
No, come on. Candy corn is underrated. Candy corn is great.
What are you 70? My dad used to eat those.
I love candy corn.
Tom, just eat a candle. It's the same thing.
Exactly. Go get those old wax lips and chew on those.
Oh, remember those things when we were kids?
Yes.
Yeah, the big red lips. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm going tonight with my grandkids, my son and daughter-in-law, and my wife. I am actually wearing an inflatable shark outfit.
Love it.
Gotta have fun, man. Gotta live life.
That's right.
All in. Hey, have a great